Hi, friends. I hope you're all doing great. I've missed making these videos, but I've kind of held back for a while after last year. If you followed me on social media for a while, you've seen me go through these phases of wanting to share a lot of spiritual, personal material and then kind of pulling back and just focusing on my professional stuff. And I think that's because, well, for a few reasons. One, I never know who in my inner circle is really down with the spiritual work that I do, especially my queer fam, my trans fam. So much of our upbringing has led us to oftentimes shun those that once shunned us. So spiritual work can sometimes feel unwelcome, can be triggering in like a religious trauma sort of way. Also, there's a thing called the witch imprint, is something I've heard it called. It's sort of like the embodied cellular memory of being burned alive at the stake for speaking spiritual truth in previous lifetimes. I'm laughing about it because it sounds sometimes ridiculous, but also was so real for me the last time that I was making some of these videos. I honestly felt like my flesh was being torn off my body, even though I really like talking about these things and sharing these things with the people I love. But when it came time to making videos and putting them out into the world, there was this like fear of persecution, which makes sense because I've like experienced that in this lifetime as well. But it felt bigger than that. And so, in the several times in my life that I've tried to bring forward spiritual material on social media, I've had to kind of face that really painful vibration. It's like I would actually like collapse on the floor and like sob after making a video because it was so scary for me. Even though I really believe in the things I believe in and enjoy sharing them with people. So it's been about a year since I have tried to bring my spiritual work back on online, let's say. And during that time, I've kept doing what I do. I journal, I meditate, I pray, I channel, and I commune. And that's been something, as I've shared before, that I've always done since I was really young. It supported me in my spiritual growth. It supported me through times of difficulty and through times of great success to stay grounded and level headed. Well, this last year has been challenging, and I have relied on my spiritual work to keep me sustained. And during that time, I have sort of withheld some of the messages that I've been getting or impulses I've had to share publicly and instead just focused on doing the work for me, which has been great. And occasionally for some friends or yeah, my family. But more recently, I've felt a stronger calling to share again in a public way. I've also felt a great resistance to doing that, but I'm doing it anyway because I know that these next few weeks, especially, are going to be really wild, and there's just so much going on in the world that is painful and terrifying and confusing and frustrating. And sometimes it seems nearly impossible to stay in a place of faith and love when you look around and see the things that you see. And it feels to me that now is a time that's more important than ever to really anchor into faith and love and whatever that means to you. I want to talk about that. But yeah, so I'm making a sort of commitment to myself to post more frequently some of these messages over the next couple weeks, particularly because look, even my throat chakra now is like, no, you cannot. Particularly thinking about my fam who have felt unwelcome or unwanted by spiritual truths, by or even things proclaiming to be truth. I know so many people who have turned their backs on God or a higher power because institutions that claim to speak for God or higher powers have turned their backs on them first. I always wish for my queer family to have safe place for ritual and faith and belief in magic and the beyond. And so, as I've continued to deepen my own well, I figure now is the right time to bring forth some of that deep love and try and share it with those for whom it might have value, it might be needed. So that might be you, it might not be you. I hope if you resonate with my vibe in general that you'll stick around and hear what I have to say. But if not, no big deal. I don't take it personally. And I'm also still the same fucking person. I'm still Manifest Pussy Shakina, you know? So even if I'm like talking to angels and deities and aliens and dragons and what have you, I'm also just that queer ass bitch who slays the game. And you know, I practice non-duality as a non-binary trans woman. You know, I didn't come here to be this or that. I'm a both and kind of chick. So yeah, we'll see what comes forward in these videos. But anyway, enough of the disclaimer. Let's jump in. In my channeling work, which I've done for years and years and years, as I mentioned, mostly through journaling. This last year, I have spent a little more time practicing verbal channeling aloud, and I've kind of thought of it as like trance channeling, but also I've been working on keeping my eyes open so that I can communicate through my eyes, or more so that what I am channeling can communicate through my eyes. So this is still kind of new for me in that way, but what I'm going to be doing is tuning in to my guides, who I've come to lovingly call the Guardians of the Light. And that's a really broad assemblage, a coalition of my spirit team that come from a lot of different arenas. I've left messages on my YouTube channel from some of them individually, and some of them are sort of religious figures, some are historical figures, some are ancestors, some are extraterrestrial consciousness. But to me, the Guardians of the Light is sort of the collective conscious of my spirit team. And so by giving them that moniker, I'm sort of able to tap into the collective truth of their shared wisdom and bring that forward. And occasionally, as I'm doing that, one form or another might make itself known and announce itself. But otherwise, it's just me and my team talking to you. So if you give me a minute to just sort of expand my consciousness, and then I will share whatever the Guardians of the Light ask me to share today. Great. So we are here and we are the Guardians of the Light. And we're so grateful to this channel for opening up her risk and willingness to put forward the messages that we have to share today. We want to begin by reminding you that only love is real, that every other vibration is a manifestation of fear. And when you have a choice to make, we ask you to choose love. In the coming days, there will be a lot of confusion, and there will be a lot of people telling you what to think. The most important thing you can do is return to that space in your heart that knows the truth of your inner being, the truth of your wellness, and the truth of your soul, which is more expansive than the present day world we tend to occupy ourselves with. We wish for you to have communion with your own guides at this time. And that means turning within and tuning into the inner voices that you rely on, oftentimes when you are feeling intense emotion, sadness, longing. Fear is also present in these times when you will hear us within you. You will find us within you. Think back to a moment where you've heard a voice in your head telling you that everything was going to be okay, or telling you what you should do next, or telling you that the person you love is still with you, or that your feelings are valid. That voice, that still small voice of affirmation, is always present in your heart. And when you can tune in and speak with that voice, listen to that voice and speak from that voice, you can find an inner peace that expands outward from your being and can actually affect change in your environment. By being peace, we affect peace elsewhere. So in the coming days, when there is a tendency toward turmoil, tune in to your inner voice, to your guides, whoever they may be. It might be a religious figure, it might be an ancestor, it might be your higher self, it might be an extraterrestrial entity, whatever it is, or whoever it is that gives you a sense of companionship, that reminds you that you are not alone inside your heart, that there are others with you. Use that voice to find your calm and trust that voice to guide you. It's safe to listen to that voice. It's good to listen to that voice. And listening to that voice doesn't require action. In fact, very rarely will that voice prompt you to act. That voice will mostly affirm your goodness and affirm uh, the validity of your truth. And from there, you may choose to take action, or you may choose to rest in contemplation or gratitude or stillness. And those are all really great places to rest. There is always time for action. And when we learn patience, we realize that we have more time to act. So use the coming days to just begin to refamiliarize yourself with that inner voice, or those inner voices that wish to commune with you, and see if you can find names, a name or multiple names, for those voices that you carry. Who are you in touch with? Who is your spirit team? Is it an angel, an archangel that you grew up hearing about? Is it an angel you've never met or heard of before and suddenly feel in touch with? Is it an interstellar voice? Is it the voice of a loved one who's passed? Or all of these things? Just begin by taking inventory of who you speak with unconsciously and begin to make that conscious. That's the first step to touching base with your spirit team. I like to take a deep breath and feel my world expand beyond the limits of my body and allow for the communion to take place. There are no rules to touching base with your spirit team. They are with you all the time and they can make themselves known at any time. But if you wish to invoke or invite them into communion with you, the most important thing to do is to set that intention and take the time and space to make yourself available. So you might want to begin by just finding a comfortable place to sit in stillness and quiet, or listen to some nice meditative music or some beats that can bliss you out. And take a few deep breaths, feel your body relax. And as you exhale, just remind yourself that you are more than your physical body, that you are more than your thoughts and your mind, that you are more than your emotions, that you are, in fact, a soul. And that soul is an expansive energy field that exists beyond time and space, presently occupying this physical body. And when you feel like aware and in touch with the expansiveness of your soul, you just ask to be in touch with your spirit team. You can say, I'd like to be in touch with my spirit team, or you could say, Spirit team, if you're there, please answer me. And it might take some time to hear a voice. It might take some time to get a feeling of someone or something there with you. But I promise, if you sit even just for a couple minutes and fill yourself up with breath and expansiveness, that you will receive some kind of inner signal that you are not alone in that expansion. And as you dialogue with that voice, know that you might not hear it like a sound. You might hear it like a thought, like it might show up maybe as an image or as a scent. Um, it might not be a voice that's thunderous between your ears, but it might be an inner knowing uh, that you feel called to second guess right away. And I just encourage you to not second guess it, to take a moment and allow for it and see what you can learn. See if you can feel comfortable and safe sitting with that voice or those voices. And welcome your spirit team to be a part of your life, to be more present and active in your life. And let's just take some time every day these next few weeks to tune in and see if we can find some inner guidance and stay in that place of calm. That's it for today. Thank you for letting me share and for taking the time to sit with me and listen to what I have to say. I appreciate it, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.